Welcome to the Renew and Recreate Parks and Rec Bond Oversight Committee meeting for the month. Maybe we'll just, for the benefit of those online, we'll just go around and just introduce ourselves so you know who's in the room. This speaking is Gina Oberding. I am the project manager of the Parks and Rec Bond. To my right is...
I'm Adrian Torres. I'm the open space manager.
And I'm Sarah Stant, recreation manager.
Chris Hargith, communications director.
Victor Rochelle, public works director.
Debbie Severa, executive assistant for Parks Rec, Library and Golf.
Brad Power, community development director.
Madeline Hinkfist, neighborhood engagement program manager.
Kevin Engel, director of finance.
Brad Anderson, deputy director of Parks and Recreation.
And online I see Elizabeth, who just said
Hi, Elizabeth Shaw. I'm on the sustainability committee, and Logan is here. Logan?
Yep, Logan Dunning, member of the City Sustainability Commission.
Thanks, and I see Tracy on from our finance team.
Tracy Matlock, accounting supervisor.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
And Jenna, welcome, Jenna.
Hi, yeah, I'm Jenna with the Parks and Rec Commission.
Nice to have you, Jenna. And a couple of members of our communications team, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda Arntz, communications strategist.
And Vanessa. That's all right. Thanks for joining communications team, and also, you know, thanks for being rock stars with Block Party, and that was really fun this last weekend, and all the work that you're helping us do with the Parks and Rec Bond. So we'll get to that in just a second. So today we want to just review the timeline, go over some project updates. I'll ask Brad to share some things, and Adrian as well, and then a quick review of our finances, and I want to introduce a new process that in partnership with the procurement and contracts department we're implementing, called the quarterly business review, and then we'll just go through next steps. So as far as the timeline, this document should not be new to you, nor has anything changed on here. At the last Parks and Rec Commission meeting, one of our members had suggested showcasing something like this at some of our community meetings. And so our wonderful communications team created this document on the right. It's more of a vertical timeline that highlights things with using the Inglewood colors.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, blast. Hang on, hold please. Oh, because I'm not logged in.
All right, you got the
Dongle.
plugged in. Just hit it on the pad there. Yeah, there's a little up arrow button that you can share.
I did not know that existed. This is so cool. Microsoft Whiteboard, this.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I'll start this over. Is that sharing now or no?
Not yet. There.
Aha. Thank you. I am so sorry. Here we go. Let's start over. There we go. Agenda recap. Project timeline. You've seen this before. And then new is the item on the right in a more vertical layout. Is the timeline. I really like this. It goes along with all the Inglewood colors, and especially the Renew and Recreate campaign. So thank you to the talent of our communications team to create this. And I really like it. We created a giant A-frame display and have brought it to some of the neighborhood nights and as well as the block party. What was really nice about this at the block party is it really did ignite some conversation. And so I was really happy to have this, and I anticipate at all of our future meetings, I'll just bring the A-frame. So me and the A-frame are gonna go walking around the city. So I'm gonna have my husband put a handle on it so that I can actually carry it, but
I have it.
yeah, thank you. Yep. So thank you. Anyway, any questions about the timeline? We really are on track with all of our projects right now, so. Okay. Recreation facilities, Brad, you got the next two things, so take it away.
Good. So recreation design team is going at a feverish pace, so it's going really good with everything. The online survey came back, 63 respondents came back with that one. We had some really good things. A lot of the thing we're honing in on is how the guests, when they come into the recreation center, how they use the locker rooms. They use it just to drop stuff off, to use a locker, not to use a locker pass through. So we're really taking that information and tweaking a little bit the design of what the locker rooms are going to look like also. We're on track to be 100% of the design to be completed. The initial cost estimates have come through with that one. We're feeling a little bit comfortable. Of course, we never will have enough money with everything that we'd like to have, but we think that the budgets in there will be able to handle some things. There are probably a number of the alternative things that we will not be able to incorporate in the project at this time, but we're still hopeful that the majority of all the major scope is going to happen. We're getting ready to move into design development as well with that one. And then we're going to be hosting another community event either in September or October. We just don't have that date solidified quite yet. And then also we're getting ready to present it to the design review team, development review team. Yeah, that's what it is. So Brad's team is going to run over to that one. So that's what's happening with the Recreation Center. Sarah, do you want to add anything to that?
I don't think so. Just
Good.
there's been a lot of great conversations and great ideas coming from the public through our open houses, and I think we're able to get our message out that, you know, we are hearing them, and a lot of their suggestions are actually coming to fruition through our designs. So pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. And Brad, can I just clarify with you? So our architect submitted an inquiry to the DRT, and I don't know who responds to those messages online, but from my understanding that it is going to be reviewed by the DRT at some point soon, which it seems to me like is sooner than we would typically present to the DRT, but there's a lot of building considerations, permitting types of things. Is there a certain time period that is preferred?
No, in fact, you can do it several times.
Oh, okay.
It's not a one shot at the apple.
Okay.
And it's not just our group, it's interdepartmental
Yes.
group. So it's
Yep.
everybody who has a hand in the development review process will
Okay.
be part of that. And
Great.
They get comments back.
Okay. Good. We look forward to your input on this one since it will, there's a lot of moving parts with this one. So, okay, Brad.
And then Pirates Cove, move on to the second recreation facility that's part of the bond is Pirates Cove. We did hold an open house on August 5th. There was 30 community members that came in and then 25 lifeguards that were still on duty and stuff. They came by and they were excited to see the conceptual designs of it as well. So the online survey, we were really surprised with this. There was 123 respondents that came in, gave us really good feedback with that one. So where we're at right now is land survey has been completed. And then also the topographical and geotech information has been completed with that one. We are on track with that project. And just to dig in a little bit with some of the online survey stuff is we determined that 35.8% of the people that did the survey that they do attend at least weekly at Pirates Cove. The main age group that comes to Pirates Cove is 5 to 14 years of age, which is pretty close to what we see normally. And then also underserved group, there was no really group that said that they felt that they were underserved at Pirates Cove currently. And then majority of the people have not attended an event or adult night there, so which is kind of interesting because the adult nights, we've had 5 this past summer and they were totally sold out. So that one was interesting. Preferred features is they definitely said a multiple passenger slide. That is incorporated into this project. Underwater benches, which is incorporated, a water crossing to where it's like lily pads that you walk across. It'll probably be pirate themed, but that is in it. Then diving and jumping, that we have that incorporated in the deep into that pool. So everything that the people tended to want to see at the facility, we already have in the scope. So that was good. Other things, program suggestions, cleaning the locker rooms, you know, that was one thing, but those are things that can be taken regular operation, which we will be talking with staff specifically for the 2026 season, but that will continue. And then mostly the Inglewood residents are the ones that completed that survey. So that's good that we got that information from our citizens so that we can make sure that they're happy with the product that we end up with. And then most of the respondents have lived in Inglewood for more than 5 years. And then most of the respondents were 35 to 44 years old. So definitely that median group is what we normally see that have got families. So that's where Pirates Cove is at right now.
Questions or comments from anybody about community engagement for the rec center, Pirates Cove, or anything with those two projects?
I guess, can I add something?
Sure.
Probably one of the things as far as programming, probably the biggest list that we had was that they wanted to see the deep water exercise class maintained there because the original conceptual design didn't have a deep end, but we redesigned, and so there will be a deep end of the pool. The other part that we heard from is they still wanted a diving board. There will be some type of dive feature to where they can jump off of a platform into deep water. That will be right now expected about 11 feet of water. So we listened and we've made a lot of adjustments and stuff. I think it's going to be a good product when it comes out.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And just to clarify for anyone out there, Pirates Cove will still be open next season, for the whole season. We don't anticipate starting any construction until next August, so a year from now.
Yeah, the only impact we may have is when it goes to weekends only, which is usually that second week of August, we may shut down to take advantage of the good weather the end of August, although it rained the end of August this year, but that may help us be able to open on time for the Memorial Day weekend of 27.
Thanks, Brad. All right, we're gonna move on to parks. Adrian?
All right, this is just gonna be a high-level update on all the different projects we have going. Gina has some pretty pictures for me to show after we get through this slide. So, Bard Park, the concept is we're leaning towards doing an arboretum. This would be our first arboretum in the Parks Department. We'd like to use the arboretum to showcase different varieties of trees. We're also trying to partner with the schools for some educational experiences as well as the community. We'll also be adding more shade to the park. We did have our first community open house on August 19th. We had several good conversations with quite a few neighbors that came out to that. And the online survey is currently open till September 2nd. Bellevue, we're wrapping up our feasibility study. So what that means is our design team is looking for a space in Bellevue Park that we could potentially put the farm. Those of you that don't know, it's currently in the FEMA floodplain. So we have to move it out of the FEMA floodplain. And they've given us a few pretty unique places that we could move the farm for more visibility from Bellevue. Design phase will be fall. It'll probably take the whole year, all of next year. We'll go to council on September 15th with the Bellevue design contract for the phase 2 of the project.
Would that physically be moved, or would you be rebuilding a new one?
We will be rebuilding a new one.
So would the other one stay open until the new one is done?
Yes. Yep. So we don't anticipate any closures during the construction of the new amenities at Bellevue Park. So, great question. Clarkson, first community open house is tentative for September 10th. We haven't quite nailed that down yet, but that's what we estimate as of now. Cushing, for those of you who've driven by, construction has started at Cushing. Several construction fences up. You can kind of see where the dog park's going to go, and the playground has been removed. Miller, online survey results, we got quite a few responses for Miller. We also had a few, a few. Gina talked to PYS, and then we had a community meeting at the park and got a lot of good feedback from the community. Northwest Greenbelt, second community open house is tentative for sometime in September. Rotolo construction contract. We've gone through the RFP process. We've gone through the evaluation process. Now we're working on the contract process. Unfortunately, most likely, we won't be able to take that one to City Council till October 6th. Let's move on to the pretty pictures.
Here we go.
So these are concepts that we provided to the community during our open house. They were also part of the survey online that the community could participate in. This first concept is more of a traditional arboretum, as you think of arboretum back east or at CSU, or there's a few around town. But this would be more tree focused. And one of our long-term goals is to potentially tie this in with our Arbor Day tree sale. And residents could see examples of trees that they could potentially purchase through our Arbor Day tree sale. Concept B. So this was more incorporating more of the plants and the trees, the plant and tree relationship. So this one has more lower level ground cover plants that will also have with the trees. So the first one you kind of think is highlight showcases just the trees. This concept will highlight both, so, we're also hoping to do, native plantings and stuff like that as far as incorporating all the trees and plants together in this concept. When we talked to the community, there wasn't really a preferred concept on the arboretum that I remember. So
no,
they
kind
were
of half
more,
and half.
Yeah, they were more just excited that we were adding trees and an educational piece to the park. These next two are the different ideas for the landscape zones at Bard Park. Bard Park is currently mostly Kentucky bluegrass. We'd potentially save a ton of water over there doing either of these concepts, but this one is more quadrants. So Kentucky bluegrass would be a big section of it. A section would be native plants, and another section would be bigger plants. So these are just two of the ideas that the design team came up with different ways of incorporating our goals into Bard Park. This one was, when we brought this to the community, this one didn't win, I think. Mm-hmm. So this one was definitely the favorite as far as when we had our open house and our online survey. This one is a mix, or brings islands in and keeps a lot of the bluegrass through the middle. One thing that we did hear talking to the community is that a lot of the existing turf is used at Bard Park for, throwing a football, throwing a frisbee. So we did hear that when we met with the community. This could be a win-win for both of us, where we can get some native plants in there, keep the bluegrass, and also have some planter beds. Is at the end for Bard.
Yeah.
Any questions on Bard?
The online survey is still open through September 2nd. So if you know of anyone that lives in that neighborhood, we have signs up there with the QR code where you could scan the QR code and still take the survey. So results for that survey will be presented at the September Oversight Committee meeting.
All right, moving on. If there's no questions on Bard, we'll move to Cushing. Like I said earlier, the playground has been removed. The dog park has been fenced off. All the playground equipment and the dog equipment has been ordered. We're anticipating playground installation beginning of November. So hopefully wrapping up this project completely in 2025. Any questions on Cushing?
I'll point out the graphic online is something our communications team developed and will be printed and posted on the construction fencing at Cushing Park, so that as people use it, they can see what the park would look like in the future. So we want to make sure that we're keeping the community updated on each of these stages. Chris, your team is amazing also.
Thank you.
Yes. Example A.
All right, moving on to Miller. So Miller Field, we've had lots of discussions with Tyler, who is our stormwater manager for the city. We're working on a lot of different ideas of how we can capture stormwater from the site. We haven't really finalized an idea on which direction we'll go. Some of the cool ideas that our design team has recently brought us are these bioretention examples. So you can see one here that was from CU Aerospace Building. So people are coming up with a lot of creative ways to capture stormwater these days. So hopefully we can incorporate this at Miller, and it's more of an added educational piece for the community versus a hole that holds water. Gina and I and Victor met with Thomas. He's our new traffic engineer. We're starting to pull him in on this project. The park is surrounded by the street. There's going to be some on-street diagonal 90-degree parking. We haven't figured all that out yet, but to bring Thomas in to start seeing plans and giving us guidance will be a huge help. And as we talked about earlier, a lot of community engagement at Miller. Those are just a list of what we've done with the community engagement from Miller. Concept 1, so this is definitely was the favorite for the community by far. So this is the direction that the design team has been given to, won't necessarily be exactly like this, but use this and refine it going forward with the design of Miller. Adding a playground, splash pad, restrooms, keeping the ball fields. Another thing that we did recently is we did make contact with someone that still lives in town from the Miller family, and he's also very excited about this project and how we're going to keep, that history alive at Miller Field. Any questions on Miller?
Where's your bio retention?
It's not on there yet.
Where would it go?
I think, didn't they talk about up here, kind of with the planting?
We don't know yet. It's all
We don't know.
talked about.
I just made that up, actually. It's not gonna go right here. It would, as far as something that
Not
would
gonna
be
go in
visually
center field?
appealing and like have other plants, it would probably go in, an area up here.
Any other questions on Miller?
Okay, thanks, Adrian. Anything else with parks? Let me just pause there. Any park, I know we don't highlight everything going on with every project every month, but these are some kind of just significant things happening from month to month that we feel like we would like you to know in case you've got inquiries for us.
Question on Cushing. I assume Tyler's engaged there too, given the floodplain, floodway, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we had to move a fence out of the
Floodway.
Yeah. So not a huge deal. I mean, it just kind of barely cut off. It's cut off a little corner, so it was not a huge deal. Okay. I would like to say real quick for everybody that's in this room and online, thank you. I mean, we couldn't do this without all of you and all your departments. So it's a ton of stuff to take on, and we appreciate everybody that has helped us.
Thanks, Adrian. All right, moving on to the financial overview. Right now, with the design phase, things move fairly slowly. And so our finances look somewhat similar to last month. No big changes. The majority of anything that we're paying is for design services. So there's nothing to highlight necessarily with this. Right now, we're tracking as we budgeted. And we would anticipate in probably years 2 and 3, those are when the big chunks of money come because that's construction. So just to let you know, no concerns. If anything comes up, I'll certainly, chat with the finance team. And then lastly, a new process for us. So in partnership with Procurement and Contracts Department, we are implementing the quarterly business review for our suppliers. The goals for this are to really ensure that all parties comply with terms of the contract on both sides, their side and our side. Resolve any contract or performance issues or disputes promptly, objectively evaluate supplier performance, and support strong collaboration and communication throughout the contract period. So this really is a best practice. We are going to be implementing this starting September 2nd. And so our first quarter, if you will, while it would be typically July, August, September, we're really only going to evaluate for September, and then we'll move to full quarters in Q4. We have outlined basically 3 different areas for evaluation: contract compliance, supplier performance, and supplier risk management. And then we've identified some criteria under that in which we'll evaluate them. So our suppliers at this point are, at least our landscape, our architect suppliers have been informed of this process. We're going to see how this goes, make any adjustments that we need to, but this is really a best practice, and we look forward to having some standard way that we evaluate our suppliers. I think this will also help other departments as they maybe explore, you know, how they want to use our suppliers. This is an objective way to evaluate suppliers. So I'm looking forward to really implementing this and seeing how it goes. So any questions or concerns about that process? Super. We're really doing it. This is great. So really next steps for us this next month, conducting the second round of community engagement events, making sure the community feels, you know, knows that we are listening and that we hear their input. We want them to be involved. Preparing for city council meetings, as you saw, September 15th we'll go to council, and then probably again October 6th for approval of some big contracts. And then our next meeting for this group is September 25th at 2 p.m. So that's really all we had for you today. Any suggestions or comments, questions about the committee, anything we can be doing to help you feel informed? Anyone online have anything? I'm all ears, now or at any other time? Just thumbs up.
No, I don't right now, but no, this is incredibly helpful. So I am good right now.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, if you have any questions, we are trying to also keep our Renew and Recreate website and the pages there updated as we receive drawings and things like that. We want people to be able to access this information from a lot of different avenues. So that's all I have for you today. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Gina, maybe a quick question.
Sure.
Like construction, I know the projects are in different phases. When you guys are looking at construction cost estimates, you know, feel free to, I know there won't be a ton of overlap, but feel free to reach out to Public Works' team. I mean, we got cost estimates in on bids for Oxford Ped Bridge. So if you're looking at things like earthwork or concrete work, it might be a good kind of smell test to see where your estimates are coming in.
We would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, especially Bellevue. That's going to be huge earthwork. Yeah.
I don't know that we have a ton of projects with a lot of earth moving, but you know, we got Old Hamden Utilities, we completed Dartmouth Bridge, Oxford Ped Bridge is under construction now. So there may be some items you're able to extract out of that bid document. And if you wanted to go conservative, you could, I can get you in touch with the PM for each one. You could use the high end as your estimating number maybe, or do the average or whatever you feel is appropriate, but we can certainly get that info to you.
Appreciate that very much. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
We have always struggled with the engineering bids, you know, they're close, but they're usually under.
They're usually under.
Yeah.
That always is can be tough.
Yeah,
So
I think
we're also seeing that. They're under.
Well, great. Well, thank you all. I'll end the meeting.